Hello there, my friends. Welcome back to SoulTree Meditation. If you are new here, welcome. You can join me regularly for content regarding meditation, energy, manifestation, and the expansion of your consciousness. So in today's video, I wanted to discuss frequency and circumstances. So we are all existing on a certain frequency band at any specific time. So our frequency changes regularly. It fluctuates every nanosecond. And as you change your frequency, you shift into basically different realities or different realms of possibility or experience that are going to be reflective of the frequency that you are existing on at any given time. Every single person exists on their own frequency, and everything around them, including their friends, their circumstances, their family, the environment that they're in, every single thing that you can see and experience is reflective of the frequency that you are currently existing on. Understanding this on a deeper metaphysical level, we are all just energy and we vibrate at different frequency levels. You can look at the frequency levels as, different realities or different realms of experience without getting too far into the deep metaphysical aspects of things. It's helpful just to understand that a frequency can match up with your emotions. So if you are feeling happy, if you are feeling hopeful, if you are feeling positive, you are on a higher level of frequency. And if you are feeling the lower emotions, you are on a lower level of frequency. However, our baseline frequency for each and every one of us is different. Usually we will be holding a baseline frequency, meaning that we will expect certain things and we will feel a certain way, and that's usually just a normalcy for us. When you get into manifesting and you start consciously raising your frequency, changing your belief systems, and changing the things that you expect to happen, you are going to notice that you change frequency levels. Because you start to change frequency levels, you're going to notice drastic changes in your circumstances, okay? Because your circumstances match up with the level of frequency that you are currently vibrating at. So when you experience a change in your frequency, you are going to inevitably experience a change in your outer reality. So the reason that I make this video is because there's a lot of people who are experiencing drastic changes in their life circumstances at the current time that we're all going through in this ascension, during this shift. And that is simply because we are all shifting into a higher band of frequency. During this shift, there are those who are choosing to stay at a third dimensional level of experience, and there are others who are shifting into more of a fourth dimensional and fifth dimensional level of experience. And this is what we refer to as ascension, or the collective shift in consciousness, okay? For those of us who are going through an ascension path or shifting into the higher dimensions, we are experiencing a tremendous amount of breakdown and turbulence in our circumstances, okay? And the reason for this is because we are splitting into different realms of frequency in a very, very big way as a collective. So this experience can happen individually or it can happen collectively, and right now it is happening in both circumstances. So if you are noticing that you are starting to wake up during this current time period, or you're noticing that you are shifting away from old friends, your relationships are falling apart, your circumstances seem to be crumbling, the reason for that is because you are actually shifting into a new vibrational experience, and one that's going to be much more matched up to what you are experiencing as a frequency. Your base frequency is starting to change, so your external reality has no choice but to reflect that frequency change. And this is how it happens always. So for those who are really confused about what is happening, I see clients all the time who have a major kind of trend that they talk about. Everybody is experiencing either a shift in their relationships, a shift in where they're living, a shift in their work life, a shift in their beliefs, and as a result the external reality is shifting to match that frequency shift that they're experiencing. So this can be experienced as quite stressful. It leaves many people confused as to, why is this happening to me? Why am I losing my relationships? What is going on? Why are my current circumstances, falling out beneath me? And the reason is because you're actually shifting in frequency, okay? And those friendships, that job situation, those circumstances that existed on the old frequency cannot follow you to the new frequency. And that is just simply basic metaphysics. The way it is reflected in our reality looks a lot more stressful and usually leaves us unable to process what is happening because we do not have the knowledge to look at it from a much higher perspective. And that higher perspective is that we are all just vibrating at different frequencies at different times. And if we have shifts in our circumstances, it is just reflective of those changes in frequency. So what we will find happening is that once we are finished with the lessons and the experiences of the old frequency, we will no longer be able to go back to the frequency that we were at, because energy inevitably by law expands, and this happens to everyone. We all choose to come in here and expand as an energy, and we do that by learning and growing and choosing to basically up level our frequency in this earth school, in this game of life, as we continue to move forward. So what I'm also hearing for a lot of people who are finding themselves on an ascension path, or choosing to move towards freedom, choosing to move towards more of a fifth dimensional experience, they will talk about how they are unable to go back to the previous what we can call third dimensional experience, okay? So that might look like working a regular 9-to-5 job, maybe being in a relationship that you've been in your whole life, or living in your hometown that you've always grown up in, or something like that. You're going to feel like you no longer fit that experience. And this can be defined as a, overarching general spiritual awakening. It can be very uncomfortable. It can be very turbulent. And for most people, they don't understand immediately what is happening. We just feel like our life is a, suit that we used to wear that doesn't fit us anymore, okay? So by allowing ourselves to easily move through these changes without a lot of resistance, you're going to find that if you just inevitably follow what feels good, if you just inevitably follow your guidance and your path forward, you're going to move into a higher space of frequency where you're going to call in circumstances that now match the new frequency level that you are existing at, okay? So you will call in new friends, you will call in a new means of making money, you will call in new circumstances or a new place to live that is much more reflective and much more beneficial to the new frequency level you find yourself in, okay? And this is just a byproduct of growth. This is just, a natural way of existing. But for a lot of people, they're very uncomfortable with moving through change. And right now, most of us are being forced to change through the tyranny, through the uncomfortable circumstances that we find ourselves in. We've all been put in situations where we have to make choices, that are very make or break, that can feel very serious to us, okay? And whatever path you choose is what frequency space you're going to be moving into. And there is no higher or lower in frequency. There is no positive or negative. There is not one that is better than the other. It is simply the quantum field that we are all moving throughout, and our experience changes with those frequencies. So if you're a person who is getting getting into meditation, you're getting into a manifestation practice, you're starting to change your thought patterns, or you're possibly healing wounds from your childhood, okay? You might experience a circumstantial breakdown, and for some this might look more dramatic than it might for others, but what is actually happening is that you are shifting your frequency drastically enough that the external reality has no choice but to reflect that frequency back to you, okay? I also wanted to discuss the tests that you're going to be put through, and this is a very common experience as well. If you are actively manifesting a new reality, most of us want to manifest things that are out of our realm of current experience, meaning that we're not used to holding the frequency space where those things exist. So if we're trying to call in something that is very out of the realm of our current experience, we're going to be given a bit of a test to see if we can actually hold the frequency of that new thing, okay? And usually what will happen is we'll be either given an option to get that new thing, or we will be put in a space where that new reality is attainable, but we will also be given options that reflect more the old reality or the old frequency space. And depending on what we choose will show us whether we are ready to step into that new frequency space or not, okay? And I see this happening with a lot of people right now as well. For example, those who are going through an ascension path are usually trying to find ways to be more creative and work for themselves, as they don't desire to work in a third dimensional experience anymore. So they might be offered jobs or positions that are very 3D, you know, working 9 to 5, working for somebody else, that kind of thing. When they have an option to possibly go off on their own and create something new, they are given an option of the old frequency as well. So depending on what you choose, your circumstances are going to reflect the frequency that you have chosen. And if you do choose to go back to a previous frequency where you existed, you may either not be ready to hold the frequency of the new reality, or you might still be needing to learn some of the lessons of the old frequency. However, if you do go back to the old frequency rather than expanding, there will usually be a period of discomfort existing at the old frequency because you energetically were ready to move on to the new frequency. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. So understanding that everything is you, every single thing is you pushed out, and that is another thing that you hear in manifestation all the time. That is another concept in manifestation that we talk about all the time, but it is actually very literal, because depending on the frequency space where you exist, you are going to experience the circumstances all around you that reflect that frequency. And this exists for your mental capacity as well. So if you are vibrating higher, if you are vibrating in a higher space of experience, you're going to be able to access spirit a lot easier. So you're going to be given new opportunities, new ideas. You're going to feel very in control and very capable. Whereas if you're vibrating at a low level of experience, you're going to feel, stuck and resistant, okay? And all of us do go up and down in this emotional kind of space where we'll be high frequency and low frequency from time to time, but it's the baseline frequency where you are existing at that once that changes, the circumstances around you are going to really reflect that change, okay? One thing that I hear so many people talk about consistently at this current period of time is the split in consciousness, or the separation that is happening right now between friends and families and loved ones, and their opinion on the mandates that are currently happening all around the world, okay? Understanding that once you move to a new band of frequency and you make a choice, whatever existing at the old band of frequency is usually going to kind of fight you. It'll almost be like the old reality is kind of fighting you or trying to pull you back. So if you have people that are fighting you in your current experience or attacking you for your your belief systems, okay, understand that you are just moving out of that realm of current experience. So even though that can be painful and difficult to deal with, moving to the new frequency is going to allow you to call in relationships and circumstances that are going to be more reflective of what feels good and feels natural to you, okay? So again, just to recap, whatever space of frequency you exist on is what's going to be reflected around you in a hologram, like a 360-degree game that you are playing, because that is exactly what this life experience is, okay? This is an earth school. So the people in your life, the jobs that you have, the experiences that you're having are all reflective of the frequency and the energy that you hold within yourself, okay? So understanding that if you want to make a change in your external circumstances, you have to change the energy that you are holding within yourself first, okay? If you're wanting to change your frequency, there's a lot of different ways to do that, but it's usually indicative of where your emotional set point is. So how you are feeling during the day, what your normal thought pattern is, and whether that is positive or negative, okay? This can also refer to things that are stuck in your energetic field, such as past experiences or traumas that need to be dealt with. If you are experiencing a circumstance that is going on in a loop, okay, it means that there is something in that circumstance that needs to be reconciled or changed energetically, or there is a lesson that you have not fully integrated, okay? So there's, work that needs to be done here, but just understanding that you can manifest your reality very easily. We all do it on autopilot all day long, but when you understand how it works, it's easier to take active control of it, and it's easier to understand the reaction that will occur in your current experience, okay? So I really hope that that was helpful. Thank you so much for joining me again. If you're interested in booking coaching to dive deeper into your own personal reality, you can do so. All of that information is in the description box down below, and I will see you on the next video. Much love.